Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And hi everyone. I am Madam SHAFINAZS EIDAYU IRMA binti ABDUL from SMKA Sultan Muhammad. Welcome to Site to ACE program, an initiative by Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Melaka Tengah. Before I proceed, allow me to thank my SISC Plus officers, Madam Daphne and Madam Nadia, for giving me this golden opportunity to have a session with all of you. So here are the objective of this session. At the end of this session, pupils will be able to identify strategies and tips in answering part 2 of paper 2 guided writing, identify different ways of writing introduction, identify ways to elaborate contents, and also finally identify useful phrases that can be used in writing part 2 of paper 2. Throughout this session, if you have any question, drop it in the chat box. I'll help you along the way. So here is the general overview of our SPM English paper with the code of 1119. As you know, we have 4 papers. We have reading, we have writing, speaking, and also listening. And for your information, each paper contributes to 25% of the overall grade. Therefore, you must sit for all the papers. So for today, we are going to focus on writing paper with the code of 1119/2. There are 3 parts all together where you need to answer all parts. The marks is 60 and the time allocated is 1 hour and 30 minutes. As I told you, there are 3 parts all together. In the previous session with Madam Hafsa, you have covered part 1. And tonight we're going to go to part 2, whereas for part 3 would be in our next session with my colleague. So in part 2, you are going to write a guided writing. In this essay, you might be asked to explain on advantages or disadvantages of certain topic. Or you may also write an argumentative essay, or you just need to give opinion on certain topic asked. This part is compulsory. You are required to write in about 125 to 150 words. When I say in about, meaning to say it's a more or less between 125 to 150 words. The marks here is 20 marks and the CEFR level aim for this part is B1 to B2 level. So now, how are you going to be assessed? So here are the 4 assessment skills that would be used by your teacher, by your marker later on. First, we are going to look into your content, communicative achievement, organization, and also language. For the content, the focus here is on the fulfillment of the task requirement. We are looking at your content, whether it is relevant, whether you address it appropriately, or have you covered all questions asked in the question? Next, communicative achievement. The focus is on the appropriateness of the writing. We are looking at the register and tone used in your writing. Thirdly, we are looking for the organization on the way how you put text together by using simple connectors or cohesive devices. By now, I'm sure most of you already know, most of you are familiar with simple connectors and cohesive devices. You can see on your left hand side, there are superheroes for fanboys. So those are fanboys F for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So simple connectors are words used to link words, phrases, or sentences. Okay, so here on the right hand side is the cohesive devices. These are used to show the relationship between sentences and also paragraph. There are many other cohesive devices that you can use. So here are some of the examples. When you want to add information, you can use as well as, you can use moreover, furthermore. For giving sequencing, you can use first, second, third, next, and last. Okay. Next, for the language assessment skill, the focus here is on vocabulary, spelling, grammar, and also variety of sentence structures used in the writing. When I say sentence structures, your marker or the teacher is looking at the simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, or a compound complex sentence that you use in your writing. Okay, so here is the writing assessment skill for part 2. As I told you, based on the 4 assessment skills, each skill you have 5 marks for each skill. So how to get that 5 marks for the content? Please remember all content should be relevant to the task and your target reader is fully informed. Then only you can get 5 marks. For the communicative achievement, uses the convention of the communicative task to hold the target reader's attention and communicate straightforward ideas appropriately. So here, the main part is you have to make sure that your essay can hold the target reader's attention, meaning to say you have to write a very interesting essay in order to get the reader's attention. Whereas for the organization, you have to make sure that the text is generally well organized and coherent using a variety of cohesive devices. So here is where you need to use your fan voice, you need to use your cohesive devices. And finally, for the language, you have to use a range of everyday vocabulary with occasional inappropriate use of less common lexis. Uses a range of simple and some grammatical form with a good degree of control and make sure if there is any errors, it should not impede communication. Okay, if your essay fulfill these 4 requirements for content, communicative achievement, organization, and language, of course, you will get 5 marks for each skill. It's very easy, right? Okay, so here are the tips and strategies on how to write your part 2. There are 5 steps altogether. The first one, read the question carefully. Okay, step number 2, you study the stimulus and points given. Here is the part where you need to analyze. You are not just reading for step 1. Step 2, you have to analyze the question. And moving on to step 3 is brainstorming ideas. You need to brainstorm the ideas. And this is the part where most students, you skip this part. You don't like to brainstorm your ideas. You read the question or you know what to do and you straight away write your response. Starting from now, please, please, and please don't ever skip step number 3. This step is really important in writing. This will help you to write a better response, especially when you are stuck in the middle of writing. When you refer to the brainstorm ideas, you've got all the ideas there, then you can write smoothly. So in this step 3, make sure you know the purpose of your writing and who the audience is. So for here, the audience is of course your teacher or your marker. And then move on to step number 4 where you need to write your response. After you have finished writing your response, go to step 5 where you need to check your response. You have right, and then you have to check. What to check in this part? Check your grammar, spelling. Make sure you have correct spelling, and don't forget to make sure that you use at least one cohesive devices and one fan voice in every paragraph. This will surely help you to get a better mark for your organization. Remember, I told you your essay should be coherent. How to make it coherent? By using connectors. Okay, so here, step number 3 just now. Plan before you start. So can you see the eyes there? Okay, so that ICE is an acronym, stand for Introduction, Contents and Ending. Please remember, whatever essay that you are going to write, an essay should start with introduction, followed by contents, and of course you have to end it with the ending. Okay, so here is the question. I'm sure that most of you are familiar with this question. This is taken from Lembaga Peperiksaan Malaysia. Okay, part 2. You must answer this question. Write your answer in 125 to 150 words in an appropriate style. Question 2. Your class has been discussing how they spend their money and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about what you would spend your money on. In your essay, you should write about what you would like to buy, reasons for your choice, and where do you usually buy these things. Write your essay using all the notes and giving reasons for your point of view. So, this is the topic. The topic of our essay is how they spend their money. And here, these 3 bullet points are the tasks mentioned, are the requirement that you need to answer in your essay. So, this is the introduction part. Remember the I's? You have your introduction, you have your contents, and you have your ending. So we'll go first by the introduction. So the easiest way to start your essay is just by rephrasing the question. Okay, let's look at the question just now. Your class has been discussing how they spend their money, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about what you would spend your money on. As I said just now, the easiest way, especially for low intermediate students, if you think this might help you, just use this. The easiest way is to rephrase, to change your class, my class has been discussing how they spend. Okay, so how we spend their money to our money, and your teacher, change the word your teacher to my teacher, has asked you, has asked me to write an essay about what you would spend, about what I would spend my money on. So as you can see, those highlighted words are the one that I change from the question. I take it exactly from the question and then I just change those highlighted words. Can you identify what are those highlighted words that I have changed? Don't forget to write down your answers in the chat box. So, what is it? Your, I change it to my. They, I change it to we. When in the question use you, I change it to I. So, what is it? Yes, it's actually a pronoun. So this is the easiest way. You just rephrase the question, but don't forget to change the pronoun. Okay, so next, I'm going to share with you other ways to write your introduction. Okay, you have to remember introduction should be attractive to hook the reader's attention. So here you go. There are 6 other ways of writing an introduction. So these are ideas developed by Mr. Zanurin bin Muhammad Safa, a teacher from Kedah. We have a sharing session. So here is what he shared with us. Firstly, you can use repetition, questions, describing, flashback, or by using strong emotions. Play with the emotions of your readers. Or finally, you can just start your essay by using listing. Okay, so here are some other ways on how to write a very interesting introduction. For example, okay, look at the first one, repetition. Money, money, money. All of us need money in this world. Each of us has our own ways of spending money. Surely, I wish to spend my money in my own way. So this one is a repetition of the word money, which are repeated for 3 times. Okay, let's look at the second way of writing introduction by using question. Should I buy new clothes? Is buying revision books more important? How should I spend my money? So here are questions asked in the introduction, which does not require answers in the introduction as well. So these questions are called rhetorical question. We don't need any answer. Should I buy new clothes? You don't have to answer, yes, you should buy new clothes. Is buying revision books more important? Yes, it is important. No, you don't have to answer. Remember? It's just a way of attracting your reader's attention. Okay, so you can have describing, you can also use flashback, but remember when you are using flashback, please use past tense. It's already happened. For example, last year I managed to save 700 and bought a Samsung smartphone for my father. This year with more savings, I have planned for a better gift. It sounds interesting, right? What a very good child wanting to buy smartphone for the father. Okay, besides that, what you can use is you can also use strong emotion or just by listing things that you want to buy. Okay, that's it for the introduction. And now we are moving to the content. Okay, so this content is actually refer to the requirement of the question. For example, just now, this is the question that we got. In your essay, you should write about what you would like to buy. This is requirement 1. Reasons for your choice. This is requirement 2. And the third requirement is where do you usually buy these things? So again, look at the question carefully. What you would like to buy are 1 reasons. Can you see the word as here? To indicate that you should provide more than 1 reason. Okay, when I say more than 1 reason, you can give 2 reasons, but the best is to give 3 reasons. Yeah, please remember reasons, you have to give 3 reasons for your choice. Okay, but now how are you going to elaborate your content? For every requirement asked, how are you going to elaborate? Do you have any ideas on how to elaborate the points? What can you see now? It looks delicious, right? So this is mee goreng. Okay, so this mee will help us, will guide us on how to elaborate the requirement asked in the question. Can you guess what M stand for? Why do we have that double E there? What are those? If anyone know, just type out in the chat box. So, let's have a guess. What is M stands for? Yes, it's the main idea. E stand for elaborate, and the final one, E stand for example or examples. So here are the acronym used, me, to elaborate your points. You have your main idea there, and then you need to elaborate. Okay, how to elaborate? By using five wife and one husband techniques. Have you ever heard of that? What is that? 5W1H? Five wife, one husband? What is that? Did you know? Okay, I'm sure this is not a new term for you. This five wife, one husband is the WH questions, the main WH questions that you can use, that you can ask yourself to get ideas to elaborate your point. So, what are those? What are the five wife and one husband? You have, type up in the chat box, you have who, when, what, why, where, and the big H, the husband, is how. Very good. Do you have to use those six WH questions in elaborating your points? No. Don't worry. You don't have to use those six questions. Just use some if you think it is suitable, if you think it is appropriate in elaborating your main ideas. Okay, is that clear? Okay, we're going to move on to the next E. Okay, the next E is giving example or giving examples. But I would like to make sure that all of you bear this in mind when you are giving example. Make sure it is specific. You don't just give examples, but make sure your examples are specific. What do I mean by specific examples? Okay, for example, yeah, if people ask you, what is your favorite fruits? So how are you going to answer that? My favorite fruits are banana, apple, oranges, and many more. Is that specific? With the word many more. Is that specific? No, that is not specific. Do not ever use many more when you are giving example. Okay, if people ask you what is your favorite fruit, you can just simply answer, my favorite fruits are banana, oranges, and apples. Okay, full stop. Don't put many more. Alright, so please remember, bear this in mind when you are giving example, make it specific. Okay, so this next slide are some useful phrases that you can use in writing your content depending on the requirement. Okay, depending on the requirement of the task. Okay, so these ideas is again developed by Mr. Zanurin bin Muhammad Safar. So I would like to share with you, if you are asked to present opinion, here are some useful phrases that you can use from my perspective. In my point of view, it is generally accepted that, or personally, I believe. So you can see here, there are many other phrases that you can use to present your opinion rather than keep repeating using the same phrase. I think. That would be bored. Okay, you would not attract your reader's attention if you keep on repeating the same phrases all over again and again, paragraph by paragraph. Alright? Okay, so let's look at the next one. If the question asks you to justify or to give reasons, so here are the phrases that you can use. The main reason is, I take this stand because, or you can also use To justify my choice, I will present three reasons. First, second, okay, this decision is made due to the fact that, or if the question asks you to talk about advantages and disadvantages of social networking, for example, okay, you are required to write about advantages and disadvantages of social networking. So here are some useful phrases that you can use. One of the positive aspects, the most outstanding benefit. So these two are referring to the advantages. Okay, and the other two, the main downside, the drawbacks. Here are the phrases that can be used when you are talking about disadvantages, when you are talking about the negative side of the topic. Okay, finally, if you want to show cause and effect, you can use due to this, consequently. This is to show cause and effect. Okay, so I hope you might use these phrases in writing your contents. But please remember, only use this if it is appropriate. Use it wisely, not just for the purpose of, oh, I have to use it, but it's not connecting your ideas. Make sure, okay? Okay, so here is the example of the content. Firstly, the main reason why I want to buy a guitar is because I really love music since I was young. I already know how to play the piano, but I want to learn something new. In my opinion, it would be amazing if I could play more than one musical instrument. So you can see I have three highlighted words. Firstly, because, and but. What are these? Why do I highlight this? Did you know what is this? So these are the cohesive devices. These are the connectors. Remember I told you just now? In every paragraph, you should have that connectors. Be it fanboys or cohesive devices. Why do we need to put this in the paragraph? To make our essay coherent. Okay, so we could see firstly. Oh, so this is the first reason. All right. So what about the one in red? The main reason, in my opinion. So this one is the useful phrases that I have shared before. Use it in writing. Don't just know it, but you didn't use it. Okay? You know it, you use it, you would be writing a very good essay. Okay? So that's it for the content. Okay, remember the I's? We have already discussed the I, introduction, and we just discussed the C, the content. And what about E? What is it? Yes, it's the ending of our paragraph, ending of our essay of part 2 guided writing. Okay, when you are writing your ending, please remember you need to restate or just sum up all points. Do not introduce new idea. Remember I told you this is the ending. Okay, you are going to wrap up your essay. You just sum up all the points that you have discussed, you have mentioned in the contents previously. Do not introduce new idea. Okay, so please, as you can see in the slide, there are 6 phrases here that shows to your marker, that shows to your teacher, oh, this is the ending of the essay. You can use all in all to sum up, finally, or as a conclusion, on the whole, in a nutshell. So we have 6 phrases here. You just only need one. You can just choose which one you like to use. The easiest one is finally. Okay, so here is my example. Okay, all in all, this is to to show that, this is the ending of my essay. All in all, I would spend my money on buying a new guitar because I would love to play new musical instrument, especially during this lockdown period. People say that money cannot buy happiness, but I'm sure that it can help me to achieve my dreams. So if you can see here, all in all, because I would love to play. Okay, so this one is not a new reason, yeah? This is the reason mentioned previously in the content. Okay, look at the bubble down here. Remember, do not use contractions. For example, in this essay, I did not use can't. People say that money can't buy. I use people say that money cannot buy happiness. But I'm sure, but I am sure. Do not use contractions. What are contractions? I'm sure most of you, you know what contractions are, right? It's a shortened version or it's a shortened words of cannot, it become can't. I am, it become I'm. What are other contractions that you know? There are many. There are a lot of contractions in English, right? You can use it in spoken language. Please remember, do not use it in writing. Okay? Do not use contractions in writing. Okay, so that is the ending on how to write the ending of our essay. So now let us try. Okay, so we have a new question here. You must answer this question. Write your answer in 125 to 150 words in an appropriate style. Question 2. Your class has been discussing about vacation with family and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about a dream vacation that you would like to go with your family. In your essay, you should write about where is your dream vacation, reasons for your choice, how long you plan to go for the vacation. Write your essay using all the notes and giving reasons for your point of view. Okay, so remember the tips, the strategies that I told you just now. We have 5 steps. Okay, step number 1, read the question. Okay, we have read the question. Step number 2, you need to study the stimulus and points given. Okay, so when you are studying, when you are doing step 2, study the stimulus given. Tell me, which is the topic of this question? What is the main idea of this question? Don't forget to write down in the chat box. I'll check that. So the topic of this question is, yes. Okay, vacation with family. Did you get it? Good. If you get vacation with family is the topic, then you are on the right track. Okay, after we have identified the topic, then we need to know the requirement. What are the requirements of this essay? How many R do we have? How many requirements do we have? Okay, so it's easy. Just by looking at the bullet points, we know that we have 3 requirements. So R1 would be, where is your dream vacation? When the question asks you where, of course, you have to state a place. Where is your dream vacation? It can be local, it can be overseas. It's a dream vacation. Okay, what would be R2? R2 is reasons for your choice. As I told you before, the question asks you to give reasons for your choice. So you should not give one reason. It should be more than one. It could be two, but the best is three. You give the first reason, the second reason, and the third reason. Why do you want to go to that special place? And your R3 is how long you plan to go for the vacation. How long you plan to go for the vacation, meaning the duration. Okay, so I hope that all of you get it correct. You get the correct topic. You have identified your R1, R2, and also R3. Okay, is that clear? Okay, I would like to remind you. Look at the question. The question asks you about vacation with family. So what will happen if you are overexcited? Okay, suddenly when you are writing about vacation with friends, which you need actually to write about vacation with family. So how are you going to be assessed with that type of essay? Don't worry, boys and girls. Remember the four assessment skills that will be used to assess your essay? We have content, communicative achievement, we have organization, and also language. If you misinterpret the question, instead of writing vacation with family, you write down vacation with friends, your mark will only be deducted in the content, the first skill. Okay, only for the content. Of course, you won't get 5 marks for your content because the question asks you about vacation with family and then you write about vacation with friends. So there you go. No 5 marks for you. But the good news is you don't have to worry if you write a very good essay. It's just that in the context of going with family, you change it to a vacation with friends. But you have a very good vocabulary, you have a very good grammar, you use simple sentence correctly, compound sentence, there is cohesive devices in your essay. So for these other three skills, for the CA, communicative achievement, for your organization, for your language, would not be affected. It's good news, right? You will be only be deducted marks for the content, but you have another three skills which you can get high marks. So you don't have to worry because each skill of those four assessment skills that I told you before is not affected with each other. Alright, so I hope you understand that. Okay. So let's move on to step number 3, which is to brainstorm the ideas. Okay, so how are you going to brainstorm? It's up to you. You can just write down simple notes. You can use your I think map. But today, for this purpose, I'm going to use picture as my brainstorming session. Okay, for the first one, R1. Where is your dream vacation? Where you would like to go? You can share your dream vacation in the chat box. Okay, I know most of you would love to go to maybe overseas. Okay, but for me today, my dream vacation would be Langkawi, the travel bubble promotion. So I'm going to go to Langkawi. This is the place. Settle R1, content 1. R2, reasons for your choice. How many reasons should I give? I should be giving 3 reasons. So my first reason, because of the beautiful beaches, the white sandy beaches. And my second reason, because I would like to go for the cable car ride. And my last reason, because of this underwater world, Langkawi. So remember, I already have my reason. I already have these 3 reasons why I would like to go to Langkawi. And now, how am I going to elaborate each of my reasons? By using, remember, the delicious mee goreng, the main idea, and then I'm going to elaborate by using that 5 wife and 1 husband. Okay, that is how I'm going to elaborate. Don't forget, you can also write down some examples. Examples could be activities that you can do at every place there. Alright, that would be the examples. And for our treat, how long you plan to go for the vacation. Remember the duration? So I'm planning to go to Langkawi for 4 days and 3 nights. I repeat, I'm planning. So when I say this is a dream vacation, remember? Okay, when I say I'm planning to go for 4 days and 3 nights, so please remember what is the tense that you should use here? Is it past tense? No, you cannot use past tense because this is a planning, a dream vacation that you are going to go with your family. So you are going to use present tense. You are going to use your future tense. So this is the brainstorming, step 3. So after we have brainstormed the ideas, what will be step 4? Yes, of course. Once you have brainstormed, then you move on to write your response, write your essays. You just write according to the ideas that you have brainstormed here. And then for the final step, what you need to do is check. That is the most important part. Check your response. There are 3 things that you need to look into when you are checking. You need to check your grammar. As I told you just now, no past tense. It should only be present tense and future tense. That is for your grammar. Don't forget to check your spelling, whether you spell it correctly or not. And finally, don't forget to make your essay coherent by using, huh? How are you going to make your essay coherent? By using your connectors. Please make sure when you check in every paragraph for your introduction, for your contents, for your ending, there should be at least one fanboys, at least one of the cohesive devices to make it coherent. But please remember, as I told you, don't just put any cohesive devices for the sake of having one, because Madam Shafina say in every paragraph there should be one fanboys, there should be one cohesive devices. Please, yeah, boys and girls, use it only if it is suitable in your paragraph. Don't just simply, okay, here is my fanboys, here is my cohesive devices. I will get 5 marks. No. If only it makes sense, if only it shows coherence between the ideas, it only if you use it wisely to connect ideas. Remember that, yeah? Okay, so that's it. We have already tried on this topic. So before we end, I guess let us have a checklist on the objective aim for this session. As I told you in the beginning of our session just now, there are 4 learning objectives that are aim for you. The first one, I hope that you could now identify strategies and tips in answering part 2 of paper 2. Is it a yes or a no? It's a yes, right? The 5 steps. Okay. And then learning objective for number 2 is you would be able to identify different ways of writing introduction. Remember, we have the easiest way by changing the pronoun. Oh, we have that 6 interesting ways of writing introduction as shared by a colleague of mine. You still remember that? We have repetition, listing. I say yes, right? Okay. All right. And for the third one, I hope that by now you would be able to know on how to elaborate your contents. So do you still remember how to elaborate the content? Remember the delicious mee goreng? Remember the five wife and one husband? Remember to give examples which are specific. And finally, I hope that you can use those useful phrases shared in writing part 2 of paper 2. Okay, it's a yes, right? So that's it. That is the ending of my sharing session. Don't forget, after this, don't forget to complete the exercise by scanning the QR code or by clicking the link provided in the chat box to get your e-certificate. All the best and good luck. Okay, before we end, don't forget to stay tuned for our next slot for part 3 of paper 2 with our next presenter, Madam Anissa Shikin binti Atan, next week on 25th October at the same time, 9:30 p.m. on the same YouTube channel. Don't forget to stay tuned and all the best. Good luck. Bye. Assalamualaikum and have a very good night, everyone.